Well, hello. Welcome to a special Mother's Day edition of Love and Entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Ty Woods.
What's up, family? We are back, and I am Chris Woods, and we are tuned in to
Love and Entrepreneurship.
So, what are we talking about today, Ty?
Today, we're going to talk about love and communication because we know that communication is the link to all successful and healthy relationships. So if you are having issues with your boss, with your spouse, with your loved ones, today we're going to talk about the 7 steps to healthy communication, and hopefully you can get something out of this because we want you to have healthy relationships across the board. So as we talk about communication today, I want to make sure that our fellow group people, folks, don't miss out on this. So go ahead, take it away, Chris.
So, I want you to go right now and share on your Facebook page. Tag your friends. I'm going to give you a few minutes to invite people. You know, it's late, but you know they're not doing that. You know they're strolling Facebook right now, you know. So I need you to go ahead and share because we are going to be talking about communication. Have anybody ever have problems with communication? I know sometimes we have problems with what? Chris and Ty have problems with communication?
Mm-hmm.
You answered that too quick. You agreed too quick. So yeah, that's where we're at today. So I think we have a whole list of things, but we're gonna break it down and chop it down into 7 steps to effective communication. 7 steps.
7 steps.
7 steps.
All right.
I mean, I can go into 20, you know, but you know, I think you guys can probably start falling asleep, you know.
I know. So before you guys start falling asleep, because I know it's getting kind of late, what we want to do is first talk about some of the things that bust up love. We call it love busters. Well, Willa Harley Jr. called it love busters. And coming from the book Love Busters, I can tell you one of the main things that he talked about in the book Love Busters, as it relates to communication, is angry outbursts.
Angry outbursts. I felt like we did talk about this before.
We did talk about love busters, but we didn't talk about it as it relates to communications. So what we're going to talk about today, we're not going to talk about the problem because y'all know what the problem is. Mm-hmm. The problem is your mouth.
The problem is you.
The problem is your mouth.
Oh, okay.
The problem is your mouth. Mm-hmm. That tongue right there. Who can bridle it? Who can control it? Oh, that tongue. But we're going to work with your tongue today so that you don't keep pissing people off with your mouth. And that's what we're going to work on today, okay? So, in the book Love Busters, I'm just going to talk to you about this real quick. Although it lists some of the things like angry outbursts, selfish demands, and disrespectful judgments, all of those things still relates to some form of communication.
Sarcasm. We got to talk about that.
Sarcasm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why are you looking at me like that?
Are you my co-host? I'm supposed to.
Oh, I thought you was looking at me like sarcasm. That's how you was looking at me. Wasn't you looking at me like that? Like sarcasm?
No, y'all on my side, right?
You guilty of that one.
Team Chris, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a wave, you go Team Chris.
So, anyway, we're going to talk about solutions and not the problem, okay? So we just talked about the problem real quick. But the solution, we're going to talk about the first solution. The first solution is, first of all, you need to establish trust, okay? So in any relationship, whether it's your boss or your spouse, if you don't trust that person is coming from a good place, if you don't trust that person has your best interest at heart, then everything they say to you is going to sound sarcastic, or it's going to sound like they are, what is it called, attacking you.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is first back it on up and ask yourself,
That ain't going up.
do I trust this person? Do I trust what this person is telling me? Do I trust this person, period? First of all, if you're asking that question and you married, or you're about to, no, if you're asking that question and you're about to get married,
Was that you stopping?
that's them. I'm trying to stop them.
Did you stop safely?
I hope I stopped them safely.
Okay.
Please, don't get married if you don't trust them.
I mean, that's a really good point. I think a lot of times what we do is we talk and communicate to people from our vantage points or through our lens. I know just in many cases, it's easy to kind of judge somebody or take what they say and not necessarily take it at face value because it's based on things that they have experienced in the past.
Right.
And so you can automatically, knowingly or unknowingly, put up a wall and be like,
I don't trust what you say. My last boyfriend, my last husband used to tell me he was going to the gym, but he was going to meet up with some hussy. Okay? So when your husband said, well, I'm going to the gym, well, the moment you start, and what time are you coming back? And who you going to the gym with? And it's because it's coming from a place of lack of trust.
right.
Now, if that person broke your trust before, then I can understand they have to actually work towards building your trust again, which means they have to answer your questions. What time am I coming back? 8:30. And honey, if you better come back at 8:29, because the way you're going to rebuild trust is by doing what you say you're going to do every time. That's how you're going to rebuild your trust.
Yeah. So if you haven't noticed, number one is establish trust. You got to define what that trust is. And if you're going into the relationship with a vantage point of not trusting, guess what? Your communication is already going to be rocky. It's already going to be unstable because you really don't trust anything that person is actually saying.
So number two.
What's number two?
The second way to establish healthy communication, regardless if you are in a relationship or if it's a business relationship or with your boss, you need to learn how to speak clearly. My husband used to say this, GTTP.
I still say that.
Get to the point.
And I actually added an A at the end. Get to the point already.
Oh my goodness. I think one of the biggest issues that people have in communication, this is one of the biggest issues, especially women. So, Special Mother's Day edition, ladies. Women, we tend to do hints.
That's one of my pet peeves. Any guys out there got pet peeves?
Hints.
Like women?
Hints. We'll say stuff like, whoo, I sure would like the trash to be taken out today. It sure been sitting there for 3 days.
It's still sitting.
It sure have been sitting there for, or if you're at work, you'll say things like, you know, I got a lot on my plate. It's a lot of work here on my desk. I sure would like to take some of this work off my desk and hope somebody would volunteer to take some of this work off of my shoulder. Like, look, just get to the point. Ask for help. Be clear. Be concise. Just speak what you need to say and make sure you just do it with the right tone. Oh, that gets us to number 3.
Whoa, wow, we already at number 3?
Yep.
I could have said more on just speaking clear and concise.
I know.
Just tell people.
I know,
what
but
you
we
want.
don't have a lot of time, though. We don't have a lot of time. We got some real good ones coming up.
We don't have no time.
Yes, because we about to talk about tone and body language.
Well, that's it for today, folks.
But no, not yet.
I thought we didn't get to 7 yet. Oh.
No, we ain't at a 7 yet.
Okay, go ahead.
We on number 3. So body language and tone. Let's talk about this. Ladies,
Body language. Sorry, I hear a song.
especially women of a certain color like mine. I'm not saying who.
Caramel
Beautiful. Brown. Beautiful. Yes. We tend to use our body language to express frustration, to express our lack of satisfaction. We use our body language and we use our tone to express quite a few things, right? Wink, wink. But what you have to understand is that your tone and your body language can be automatic shut off, not just to your spouse, but to your coworkers, to your boss, to anybody. I remember firing somebody because of their tone towards me. Yes, same sentence. Listen to the tone. Well, I think that if we all could have pitched in, we could have made the contract could have been turned in on time and we wouldn't have been late. I think we all could have pitched in and helped each other out. And then, the contract wouldn't have been late. Part 2. If you didn't turn the contract in, if you wasn't turning the contract in late, maybe we wouldn't have got dinged on it. We probably would have got it if you wouldn't have turned it in late.
I'm feeling some type of way.
You probably would have got it. Look at the hand. What you grabbing? What you grabbing? Stop. What you grabbing?
You fired.
Is that,
I need another co-host.
So would you fire option 1 or would you fire option 2? Go ahead and put it in there.
They fired.
Oh yeah, you justifying what I did. You justify what I did. Fire option 1 or option 2. Exactly. Option 2.
So definitely you have to, if you know this by now, number 3 is.
Well, I have to come back to that because
you skipped around.
So I have to go back to number 3.
See how my co-hosts do me.
I jumped to the next one, but then okay. But we talking about tone and body language right now, which is now step number 3.
Number 3,
or
tone
and body language. Now on a relational side, I think what's important. Yeah, this is really important because I want you to hear this, and I want you to hear this. I think what's important about tone when you're trying to get your spouse to hear something through is you have to realize that they are on your team and not trying to come against you. And if you know that they're on your team and if you feel like that boils down to trust. Mm-hmm. I have to trust that you're on my team. Right. If you're not on my team, then when I come to you about something that may be an issue for me or may even be something that's exciting for me.
I think that is really important.
If I don't come with the right tone.
Yeah, number 1, you got to really, it's not number 1 in our list, but you gotta understand that you are on the same team. And if you think that you're on opposite sides or if you're competing in things, then it's easy to be mistrust. It's easy to kind of go at each other and feel like no one has your back because you're competing, right? Yeah. I know a lot of times, in the past we used to compete on everything because our household is really competitive.
Oh,
we compete on everything, but I realized that it crept into our relationship where we started competing or trying to one up each other, right?
I made $1,000 this week. How much you make? Mm-hmm. Oh, I made $1,500. Mm-hmm. Right. So you're not pulling your end. You're not pulling your weight around here,
right?
Like oh. So now you want to talk about how much money I'm making,
right?
Well, if you was doing this, now you start pointing fingers. Right. Well, if you was out there busting your butt like I'm busting my butt, then just maybe you could bring in just as much money as I can bring in. And that kind of communication with that kind of tone and that kind of body language, honey, you causing a problem right there. You causing a problem.
Yeah, it's easy to kind of get caught up in that. And we got to realize that we are on the same team. If you've been watching The Last Dance, I'm sure people probably connected because that's probably what you're watching. And guess what? I'm doing a show, but it's okay. I'll watch it later. But in the Jordan scenario, Jordan may have scored like 60, 70, 100 points, right? But he still had a team, and they won together at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter if your spouse is bringing in more money than you. You're all bringing the money to the table, or you should be anyway, except for those people who got separate accounts that the
secret
other
accounts
don't know about.
Secret accounts. That rainy day account that my grandma told me. That rainy day account that my grandma told me.
Girl, you don't know if this gonna last.
You better have that separate account that he don't know about, so in case you need to bounce, you got money in your pocket.
That's not good advice. Okay.
Let's go ahead.
Next one.
We gotta go into the. So you gotta recognize the problems in your communication.
Right.
So you know when you go to AA meeting, and you see the 12 steps. The first step is you must recognize you have a problem.
My name is Chris Woods, and I have a problem with my communication.
My name is Ty Woods, and I also have a problem with my communication. I can be a little sarcastic sometimes a little condescending.
It's all right. We're going to work through it.
But I am all but 22 minutes sober. 22 minutes.
22 real minutes.
Oh my goodness. So we're going to recognize that we have a problem. All right, that's number 4. Number 5. Let's jump that. All right.
Never assume anything. I'm going to repeat that.
Never
assume anything.
I think in relationships, we assume a lot because we have these like social norms.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're married, you expect the man has to go work. I assume he should go work. And he assumes I need to cook and be at home. That's the social norm. Well, that was the social norm back in the day. Today, those norms are all right. So it's really based on what works for your household. But what happens is that before you get married, you make assumptions, but you never communicate about those assumptions. And then you come on this side of marriage, and then you wonder why she's not cooking when I get home. Why don't I have a hot plate in the oven waiting for me when I get home from work? She been at home all day with the kids. I don't get it.
Yeah. And this is one of my biggest things is that if you find out when somebody's offended with you or not talking to you, I guarantee you because that person, you didn't meet that person's expectation.
They assumed that you were one way and then you turned out to be another way.
Yeah.
They assumed you were going to do something for them or to them and you didn't do it.
I thought you was going to, well, we never talked about that. I didn't communicate that.
Right.
And I mean, Mother's Day is a great example. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. I don't know if I said it.
Yes.
But Mother's Day is a great example. You know, the day's almost over, and some people probably had some great Mother's Day. Some people probably didn't, just due to a lot of other stuff going on. But I think it's so important that we communicate what the expectations is in that relationships because that mother can easily get offended with the husband or the children and say, I thought y'all was going to cook for me. I thought y'all was going to do this. I thought y'all was going to do that. But did you really kind of let them know ahead of time, like what you would like to see done?
Well, I expect that you should know that I would want that because we've been together for 15 years. And I would think that you would know me by now, Chris.
I know you, but you changed.
But I expect you
but I'm not in your
to
head,
assume that I want a breakfast in bed on Mother's Day.
Right, yeah.
That's what I was expecting this morning, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But I assumed they knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
And yep, they didn't know.
You know, she got though exactly what she asked for.
Yeah, some tacos.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to Walmart, and I wanted some Panda Express.
Yeah.
And I was like, take me to Panda Express for lunch. And then for dinner, I was like, somebody cook me some tacos. And yep, that's exactly what I got.
Yeah, so a lot of times in communication, we get offended with the other person because we didn't put our level of expectation, or really going back to communicating clear and decisive and saying, hey, this is what I expect. And then guess what? You're never going to be disappointed.
Right. So how does that work over in the workplace?
So in the workplace,
what do you assume? Like a lot of employees,
that's a good example.
A lot of employees
That's a good question.
assume that they're going to get a raise.
Right.
Every year.
But they didn't talk to their boss. They didn't maybe even look at their contract.
Yeah.
You know.
They may assume that they are going to go home early.
Right.
Or they may assume that they're going to work more hours or less hours. Or a different position.
Yeah, and I think a lot plays into that of actually standing up and addressing or attacking difficult questions or difficult situations. A lot of times people are scared to have the tough conversations.
Right. Like let me talk to you. If you talk to your boss, remember tone, body language, right? So when I first got hired here, I assumed that there would be opportunities for me to expand, to go to the next level at this location. But unfortunately, I do not see any room for growth here, and so therefore I'm going to have to put my 2 weeks notice in. Option 1. Option 2, such and such gets the promotion. I've been here for 5 years. How they get a promotion? They just come up here. They've been up in here for 1 year. They just come up here and get the promotion. Oh, see. Now I'm about to blow up the spot.
You fired.
Like,
yeah. So you definitely
gotta have communication here,
because you don't know what happened behind the scenes. Communication is the key. I think that's one of the reasons why we're talking about this today. Is that your level of growth and success really depends on your communication or your ability to communicate effectively. Want to go to the next one, or you just?
Oh.
This is why it's so important to have a
number 6.
Very number 6 already?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm doing number 6.
Okay, what is number 6?
Recognize that communication issues can be caused by technology.
Anybody ever gets addicted to their cell phone?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you what goes on up in this house.
Pull up a chair. Oh, you're already sitting down. Okay.
Come here. Let me tell you something. When people on their phones,
finger pointing.
Don't even think about having a conversation. You might as well forget it. You might as well forget it. Because it's really hard to divide your time between what you're currently doing with your technology and what this live person, right in front of you is telling you. Yeah. So what we did in our home is we put a no technology at the table rule, right? Which people been breaking.
Yeah, bad. So another good tactic is to keep a mindset. Anybody ever worked in retail? I worked in retail for most of my careers.
Early on.
Yeah, of course. Entrepreneur life, we live that. So the rule I always apply is that the person that is in person is more important than the person that's on the phone. Whether that's you being.
That's why when you call places, Nobody ever
They
answers.
say, hold on, let me put
you on hold, and then you be on hold for like 15 minutes.
Right, you like, man, I should just go down there. Well, yeah, you probably should.
You actually should go down there.
If you don't have patience to hold on, then you probably should go down there. And the reason is because the person that's in front of you should have your undivided attention. And so that's a good rule in communication. And something that I try to practice is when I have on my phone, and if my wife is texting me, I say, okay, what did you say? Or if we're watching TV, I'm glad that we can pause stuff, you know. Now, what I do is she's talking, I go, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, he does. You know what? You're really good at that. You are. You're really good at that. When I'm talking to you and you're watching TV, you will pause the show so that you can give me your undivided attention. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm glad you recognize that.
That's good, because that will probably be annoying, and I'm pretty sure that it is annoying because I do it to him. So, I, on the opposite end, am not as considerate as he is, because I am considerably busier than he is.
What?
Well, I run the other business. I run the larger businesses. So, I have a lot more on my plate, and so I've spent a lot of time on my phone, whether it's email or text or research. I've spent a lot of time on my phone. So when he is talking to me and I am not finished with my thought, I will literally block him out. And everything that he said, he will have to repeat, because I did not hear him.
And that's another pet peeve. I'm like, I guess I'm going through my list of pet peeves, but I hate to repeat myself.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I really am. I think I'm going to work a little bit. I'm going to work a little bit on that.
Y'all hear that? We got it on tape.
You have it on tape. You have it here, folks,
on
Mother's Day 2020.
Come on, team.
Hold me accountable that I will put my phone down when he talks to me. Yeah. Put my phone down, because you are not more important than him. Yeah. Right? Right.
Did you have to think about that?
So, technology. We have to make sure that not only are we not allowing technology to be our distraction when the person is live, but that when we communicate through email or through text, that we are mindful of our tone.
Per my last email. As I stated in my other email. Let me BCC my boss, because they think I'm playing.
As I stated in my previous email, I told you the files was behind the cabinet, but you obviously did not look.
And
Now you're talking about some fireable offenses, especially if you're talking to your boss.
I know she did not cuss me out via email.
All caps.
I did not see the file said.
So that's in the workplace. But let's flip this and make it so that we're talking to the person that we love. And action. So in the text, it says, when are you coming home? All caps. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Interpret.
I'll be there when I be there.
Oh, no, he didn't. You need to give me a time right now. All caps. Right now. All caps. Right now. Exclamation point. Sin.
45 minutes to an hour. I'll be there when I be there. So now he's trying to be smart?
Now you're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now you done caused the argument over what time you coming home.
Yeah.
So we do this. Reserve all important communication to be in person or social distancing, right? Zoom. So you can see their face. And they can see your face. And you can see how serious they are or how sincere they are. Okay? So try to reserve important communication via in person or Zoom.
Yeah, and I do that. I try to do that even in the business setting. If it's a serious conversation, I won't even call you and talk to you.
Right.
I'll call you and say, hey, this is what's going on. Let's schedule a time. And then I'll sit down and actually talk to you. Because
right. Especially if you're about to fire somebody, you shouldn't fire somebody via text. Or you shouldn't break up with somebody via text. That's an important statement. Like, you know why some people opt out to break up with somebody via text? It's because they're too coward.
Because you're scared.
You're too coward to face them and tell them the reason why. The reason why. Because they deserve to know why, especially if they've been a good girlfriend or a good boyfriend. You know? They deserve to know why. And you definitely shouldn't be firing nobody via text. Come on, guys. That's not professional. We're going to handle things professionally. Okay? And last but not least, we're going to talk about learn how to talk business.
What does that mean?
You can talk business in the business setting. You have to learn the language that they speak. So when you go into a business setting, I remember, was you interviewing somebody? And he was like, hey, yo, what's up? Yeah, so that's what's up. I was like, are you interviewing for a hip-hop video or a social media marketing intern? Because this is definitely not the right place for you, sir. You know? So you have to learn the language, right? So just like you have to learn the language in business and how to speak to people in business, you also have to learn the language in relationships and how to speak to people in relationships, which comes with practice. Yeah. So just like how I'm on my weight loss journey and I've been losing weight and stuff, every episode, look, I see myself in episode 1 and then I see myself now in the episode 14 or 15 and I was like, okay, Ty, I'm seeing some results. Okay. Anyway, just like I had to work to get, and I'm working to get to a certain goal, you're going to have to also work to get to certain communication goals because, honey, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
And say it.
And I think it's very important that when you're communicating with a person, ask questions that aren't open-ended. Like, so it shouldn't conclude with a yes or no, right? Because you're really trying to create dialogue, right? It's not a one-sided conversation. And a lot of times when we do that, we ask questions sometimes that we even already know the answer to, and then we get that yes or no response. And then, why you ain't talking, right? Because the posture is we didn't actually ask questions that's going to invoke dialogue.
Right. So if I'm having an issue with my husband, if I'm having an issue with him, I shouldn't say, you know, I don't understand why you've been talking to me like you got a problem with me. Do you got a problem with me or something? He can say, yes, no, and keep it moving. Or I can say, I noticed recently that you have been a bit abrupt with your communication. Is there anything that I should work on in order for your communication to improve towards me?
Well, actually, I'm glad that you brought that up. Because now we can talk about XYZ.
See? That's how we communicate most of the time. 97, 4, 3, 1 in the 90s. Percent of the time. Okay? We're not perfect, but I think we do this very well. So, in recap, 7 steps to healthy communication. Number 1.
What was number 1? You guys know what number 1 is?
Establish trust. Wow. We want you guys to make sure that the person that you're talking to, if you don't have trust, then your communication is already broken from the start. Mm-hmm. And if you are dating that person and you do not have trust, do not marry them until you do have the trust. All right? Number 2.
What's number 2? Speak clearly and concisely.
Yep. You want to make sure your communication is clear. GTTP. Don't throw hints. Please.
Don't throw hints.
Don't throw hints. All right. Number 3 we talked about was watch your tone and body language. That's self-explanatory.
Is it though?
Number 4 was recognize what the problem is in your communication. So, do you have a problem with sarcasm? Do you have a problem with angry outbursts? Do you have a problem cussing people out? Recognize where your problem in communication is so that you can address it and start working on it. Okay? Next one is never assume anything. Stop making assumptions. Make sure that you sit down and talk to the person about what you are expecting and let them tell you what they are expecting from you as well. Mm-hmm. Number 6 is recognize communication issues are sometimes caused by technology. So not only are you talking about distractions by technology, but also your communication when you're sending communication through technology via email or via text. Just know issues can come out of using technology to communicate, especially hard conversations. And last but not least, learn how to talk business, okay? When you are in a business, if you're in a workplace, you learn how to talk for the workplace that you're in. Well, why shouldn't you do the same thing in the home? Learn how to talk for the home that you're in. And if the talking and communication is negative, then that means you have to constantly work. Like I was talking about working out, you're going to have to constantly work your communication out and learn different strategies that's going to work in your house that are more positive and uplifting in nature.
Yep. And so recognize that your household is your first business for all my entrepreneurs out there. And if you can't run a successful household, it's going to be really challenging to be able to translate that back over into the actual business or corporation that you're running. Yep. Because those same behaviors, those same habits that you exhibit in the household, they're going to be exhibited in the business.
Yep.
But guess what's going to happen? You're going to start to lose employees. The same way that, unfortunately, you're losing family members because you're not able to communicate effectively with them.
Ooh, that was good.
I know it was.
That was good. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all we have for y'all today on a special Mother's Day edition of Love and Entrepreneurship. Now, follow us, subscribe down there.
Hit the likes, hit the follows.
Hit the likes. Hit the follow, and then have a watch party
and share it with
share
people.
This. If you know people that have really poor communication, and this is the style of learning that they could, they could receive like this.
She need to hear that.
You should send this to them and just say, "I think this is going to help you, girl." There you go. Now remember your communication and your tone. You don't want to say, "Girl, you out of all people need to hear this." Sin.
Hey, you gotta do it like that. Just do it. I just want you to share it. So in conclusion, though, I want to share some couple of great things. So this month, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to have guests on the show.
Yes.
See how excited she is about that?
This month. So tune in next.
I'm not going to tell you who it's going to be. Don't tell them.
On May 24th, we got a very special guest. These guests are very prominent in business, and they're married, and they work together. And you'll see on May 24th. Tune in.
Yep. And I do want to do another shameless plug. I know some people actually been reading my book, and they've been DM me and telling me all the great things that they've been learning about it. So if you haven't read the book, you got nothing but time.
What's the name of the book?
The book is The Compact Guide for Creating Multiple Streams of Income. Anybody who need to figure out how to make more money during this time, I actually started a whole nother business during this time.
Me too. Yes, there's no crisis, there's only opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So remember, we love you and we wish you the very best in love and entrepreneurship. Bye, y'all.
All right, so I'm going to put the link in the bio, in the thing so you guys can check it out. If you have any other questions, feel free. Make sure you go to the website too, Love Entrepreneurship.
We already signed out.
We didn't sign out.
Yes, we did.
They still there.
We signed out.
Still there.
We signed out. No, we gone. We signed out already.
Okay. Sorry. I just love connecting with you guys. It's been a while. See you next time.
This the bloopers part of the show. This what you see behind the scenes. Oh.